welcome everyone to Why Is That Funny? Right off the bat.
I'm sorry. Hey, it's like you're seeing an old friend for lunch. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, everybody. Sorry.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Comics Covered Diner. Can we take your order? This is Comics Covered for the week of February 7th, 2018, episode 13.
Oh my god.
The unlucky episode. We should have. Yeah. We should have done like an elevator thing where we just don't have an episode 13 and then we never reference it.
What's the thing in being John Malkovich?
That they're on like a half floor. They're on like a floor between floors.
Is that 13? Do they call it 13 or no?
I don't remember what the number of the floor is, but it has low overhead.
Okay, in any case.
It's great. Here on Comics Covered, we talk about old movies from the 90s that no one remembers. We talk about... we talk also, mostly, usually, about comic books and the world around them, the comics industry, comics, movies, TV, games. We also will talk spoilers, and we'll also probably swear. We'll warn you right out the gate with the cuss words.
You warned them.
I was about to say we'll probably warn you about the spoilers, though. But also, I'm Doug. I am our resident comics veteran. For example, I know who Detective Chimp is.
Oh, God. Detective Chimp. You didn't write it down this time, so I didn't get ready. I like it when you don't write it down.
Right before the show.
I think it's good. I thought you forgot for a second, so I thought you were going to be like, oh, I didn't think of one. But no. Okay, good job. I'm Jack. I am a baby child when it comes to comics. We both kind of are baby children. I think we're both baby children in a way, but I'm a baby child when it comes to comics for sure. I like that terminology. Don't you think it's good?
Baby child.
I'm a baby child. Oh, baby child. Oh, baby child. In any case, I do not know who Detective Chimp is. Okay, so...
I think you can logic this one out.
I'm gonna logic it out, yeah, definitely. Okay, I'm gonna go... You've been doing Big 2. I'm gonna go Dark Horse.
Nah, it's DC again.
Damn it. Okay, I should just stick to guessing Big 2, and you should tell me if it's a different one sometime.
I would have, probably, but it wasn't. So
okay. I'll go on that rule. Okay, Detective Chimp. I guess at some point. Now, are we going to think this is a man that was like turned into a chimp-like thing and is a detective, or is it a chimp that became smart and then was? I think it was a chimp that became smart through some experimentation, and then he just, since he's very smart, he has a high intellect. He went in the direction of figuring out mysteries, murders, such corruption, I think is what he focuses on. And I think that he has a love interest at some point with a human, but he can never tell her because he's a chimp and he feels embarrassed, or they're happy together. I don't know.
Okay. So you think he's got like kind of a Comet the Super Horse kind of thing going on a little bit?
I think he's a little different than the specific situation of Comet the Super Horse, but I think everyone who has a high intellect like that has an outlet for love in their life, and I think he does have that sort of a thing. Sure. So let's hear it, Doug.
Okay, so you did get the fact that he was originally just a normal old monkey, normal old chimp. He, however, did get his intelligence from drinking from the fountain of youth.
Oh.
And he gained the ability to talk to all living creatures.
Whoa. Wait, so as a chimp, he can talk to everything. Like, he can talk to a plant.
That's what it seems like. I've never seen him talk in anything other than English.
Humans.
But I don't know. Maybe.
Wait, so he can't even talk to, like, Arabs?
Maybe. I have no idea. This is new information to me. I have seen him appear multiple times, but I've only ever seen him speak English to human people. So I don't know. But
as opposed to theoretically kinds of people?
As opposed to aliens.
Okay. Wait, so you still call aliens people?
I mean, They kind of are in the context of like the DC universe. They're people.
I just think human people is kind of redundant. I think aliens have a different terminology. I guess not. Maybe not.
I'd say in how they're used in like the DC universe, they're people. What are you trying to tell alien people that they're not people? Come on, Jack. This is
I'm sorry.
This is 2018.
I did watch a little review of the movie Bright, and
oh boy.
I remember making fun of that a couple episodes ago. It looks so bad. It looks so bad. You know there are centaurs in it, actually?
Of course there are. Of course there are.
Maybe Common Super Horse is in it.
Oh my god. Jack, how was your week?
Ooh, it was good. We have actually had a week and a half since we recorded, because we recorded last Thursday, which was nuts.
A few extra days.
Because I went to Colorado, and I skied, and I watched the Super Bowl, and I made sure to leave the room so I did not see the Infinity War spot, because I don't want any other information. I don't want to know anything else.
You're on media blackout. Okay.
I just don't want to know it. I mean, I guess you saw it, right? Did you see anything that you shouldn't have seen, or any extra stuff that was spoiled that you wouldn't want to?
I don't avoid... I don't go out of my way to watch trailers after the first trailer on movies I know I'm going to see, but it was on, so I watched it. I'm not like on like a Star Wars level of media blackout or anything. We don't have to talk about specifics about that trailer if we don't want to. Well, but
if there's something in there that you're excited about that I'm just happy with not seeing,
sure,
you know.
I'll talk about maybe one or two things. But okay. Yeah. So you went skiing. How that was fun. That was a good time.
It was really good. Colorado's been having a really hard time because, you know, climate change, of course, is not real. No, but it's not doing too hot on the snow. It was really, really, the temperature is really high for the time of year, and we didn't get down to the snow till the last day, but it was a really good skiing. You know, I was there with my parents. My sister's a ski patrol at Breckenridge. So it was really cool. It's really fun.
Yeah, that's fun. You put them sticks on your legs and you hurled yourself down a hill. The age-old tradition.
I gotta say, I'm very proud of you, because that's a much better description of the sport than what you said last episode, which was put the basket through the hoop for basketball.
I did say that, didn't I?
You did say that.
My week was good. I also watched the Super Bowl. I did watch that Infinity War Super Bowl spot, and I'm going to spoil the whole movie for you. They tell you the twist ending.
You actually read Infinity Gauntlet, so you actually probably could.
I mean, I don't think they're going to take anything other than like some vague kind of conceptual ideas from in Infinity Gauntlet or Infinity War.
Okay.
But I mean, maybe, I don't know. I could maybe know some of the plot twists, but I don't know what elements they're pulling. I also got real into The Sims 4 this week. I did not know that there was a Mac version of The Sims 4, and I found that out this week because they didn't make a big deal about it. And
is it new?
It's new as in like a year or two ago.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. I didn't know there were so many Sims games. That's insane.
Oh, yeah. Did you not play anything past like the first one or something?
I didn't really play all that much of the NUM, honestly. I had Sims Moving Out on my Nintendo Advance, on my Game Boy Advance.
Oh, the Game Boy ones are bad.
It wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
But what's it like? What do you do? Anything? I read about people doing like evil god things to their people.
I haven't had a whole lot of time because to actually like play the game part of the game, because I spend way too much time creating my characters. But me and Leah started a game where we built ourselves, and we, just kind of made those Horcruxes so that we may someday be destroyed. We made Raven our dog, and Skittles our cat. And also I made my own house that was, there's the Frank Nabber, and he's a man in a hot dog suit, and he has sunglasses, and he's like the Hamburglar, but he steals hot dogs. And also I made, who else did I make? I made like a Martian Manhunter knockoff character whose name, I think it was like Dan Danton, but with apostrophes in it, like John Jones. And he's secretly an alien. and he has an alien form and a human form, and he's going to be a detective.
You guys are really going into... Are you going to use this as a basis for foreplay or something like that, or roleplay?
Involving the Sims in sexual congress sounds complicated and like our nightmare cyberpunk future that we are barreling towards.
Okay.
I call being Frank Nabber the hot dogs thief.
Frank Nabber.
The Frank Nabber.
Frank Nabber, like a Frank. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's the Frank Nabber.
Okay, I just got that. Okay. Wow.
Jack, you know what it's time for? It's time for...
What's it time for?
Time for news. So we had that Infinity War Super Bowl spot. I won't spoil too much for you, but
was there stuff to spoil?
I mean, there's like some little like visual stuff. I don't think these aren't plot points, so I don't feel bad like talking about these, but like it was mostly just visuals. But okay. Like,
see, the thing is, the reason why I get weird about trailers sometimes is that when I was a kid, I remember watching trailers, and then whenever like the shot in the movie lined up with the trailer, I always remembered from like, oh yeah, that was in the trailer. And then all I remember as a kid being like, oh, the movie's not even close to ending yet. I haven't seen this thing in the trailer yet. I haven't seen this thing in the trailer yet. I hate that.
Yeah, no.
It's annoying.
That's why I've generally stopped watching like anything past the first trailer. But but I do want to say they showed Captain America's new kind of equivalent of his shield. It's weird. Okay. It's weird looking.
Is Wakanda going to make it for him? Because they say, get this man a shield?
Yeah, because he doesn't have his shield after
defecting,
What
basically
happened to the shield? I don't even remember. Did it break?
Well, it belongs to S.H.I.E.L.D. Or belongs to the government because he's a war criminal or whatever now after Civil War.
Did they take his shield? I just don't remember what exactly happened to the shield physically.
Oh, wait, didn't like Cap break it or didn't Iron Man break it or something? I think it broke when they were battling each other.
Something like that. Anyway, this has been Doug and Jack's hazily remembered plot points from movies from 3 years ago.
Hey, Civil War is on Netflix. I was thinking about watching it last night, actually.
Mm-hmm. It's a great movie. I will definitely rewatch that before Infinity War comes out. But so they showed that. It's kind of it's not even really like a shield. It's like gauntlets. Anyway, it's weird. But and then Iron Man looks like he's going to have his bleeding edge armor, which I'm surprised it has taken them so long to kind of integrate that. Which is basically he has like an armor that kind of organically forms around him like liquid in the comics. He had that
like T2, like T1000,
sort of. It like it like as liquid metal like slides around his whole body and then becomes the hard metal like suit. He had that for a long time. I don't think he's had it for a little bit recently, but that was a thing for a while.
Made of vibranium?
Vibranium? Why would it be vibranium?
Is that made of vibranium?
I have no idea. I don't know what it's made of. It's I think it's nanites, but I don't know exactly what they're made of. But I think that's...
You don't know what nanites are made of? Shame on you. Nanites
made of anything. It just means they're little robots. Tiny robots. Not like a whole lot of reveals, just some little kind of visual reference stuff if you know stuff about comics.
Okay. Meanwhile, the marketing team for Deadpool 2 is doing awesomely.
Yeah. They dropped that trailer this week, and it is all kinds of fourth wall breaking. Very fun.
Yes. I love it. It's so good. Because they also, so at some point, Deadpool has them in action figures or whatever, and he has Wade written on the bottom of the Deadpool action figure in the way that Andy writes his name on Woody.
That's very good.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Very fun.
But, and then Terry Crews, we get this glimpse of, which is weird, but hey, I'll take Terry Crews.
He's got some sort of team in this that, like, I don't know if that's supposed to be X-Force, because I know they're developing an X-Force movie that's supposed to somehow be a spin-off of Deadpool, this version of Deadpool and Cable.
So cool.
But I don't recognize who any of those characters are from the trailers, so maybe not. I don't know. We'll find out.
Because honestly, I love Deadpool, but I really think he works best on a team. Don't you think? Like, it's just the way that he works best quipping off of other characters.
I think Deadpool works best in moderation. I really enjoyed the first Deadpool. I wouldn't be surprised if this one maybe pushes it a little bit over the edge, but that's also why it's kind of a smart move for them to integrate bigger supporting characters like Cable and whatever this new team is, because he does work best as kind of a counterpoint to other characters rather than being the central character. So
yeah, like I was saying this since the first movie came out. I love the first movie. It's great. It's great to have a different kind of superhero movie like that. But it gets a little bogged down by his love story, I think. It gets a little bogged down by his origin, as all origin stories do, when you have to spend a lot of time getting the person from point A to point B. Mm-hmm. I always thought that the second one's going to be better. I still think it's going to be. It's looking to be really, really cool. Is Cable, sorry, really quick question. Is Cable like an anti-hero-y kind of person sometimes, or he's always a villain, or what?
No, he's an anti-hero. Like he has come back from the future to stop it from being the horrible like post-apocalypse that he is from. He is the future child of, I think, Scott Summers, Cyclops. I think.
Oh, geez.
If I remember correctly, son or grandson, something like that.
So that's a big bloodline in comics, right? Because then they have. Isn't Scott Summers' dad or brother?
The X-Men family is myriad and confusing. Specifically, Scott Summers and Jean Grey and that whole kind of wing of things. Oh, real weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that trailer looks very fun. In trailer world, we also kind of got this a much more basic.
Doug, Sony wanted to just join the party. They wanted to get something out to make sure people do. Guys, this is gonna happen. I promise. Venom is gonna happen.
Yeah, so they dropped a Venom teaser, and it is sure a teaser. It's like a minute and a half or 2 minutes, and I feel like they show nothing. They show like literally
nothing. It's a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Do you remember when Dark Knight was coming out and we got that first trailer of just the Batman logo and a couple lines from the Joker?
Yeah, but
it was like that, but less than that.
But,
you know what I mean? This was 2 minutes of visuals and everything, but I feel like that, like, no visuals with just a few dialogue gave me more excitement than this did.
Yeah, but like that movie, one, had Batman to trade off of. Literally everyone knows and is going to be excited about a new Batman movie. Like, you don't have to show anything. Two, they had, like, listening to Heath Ledger's performance and them teasing you with that was one of the most, like, unsettling things, not, like, being able to see it before they showed it to you. This just doesn't even tease you with anything. It's just, like, nothing, I don't know. Like, they barely show you anything. They don't show you even, like, a bit of black goo in the trailer.
They do.
Wait, they do? I feel
they do show you the symbiote in a vial or something, and it's moving around while someone looks at it. That's literally
like not it, like, going onto a person or it really doing anything other than just literally the idea that here's a vial of black goo, you know?
Yeah. My guess what's going to happen is the whole movie is going to be, about... Okay, a lot of people are also wondering, how's this going to work if they don't have Spider-Man in this? The whole point of Eddie Brock is that he doesn't like Spider-Man and that Spider-Man had it before and that's the only reason why he looks like Spider-Man, right? I think what's going to happen... This is my prediction for the movie. I think that Eddie Brock is going to get some sort of power sort of thing from the symbiote. I don't think it's going to look like Spider-Man at first. I think then, at some point, he's going to lose the symbiote in this universe sort of thing they're building. And I think then it's going to go to Spider-Man. And then when it comes back to him, we're going to get regular Venom. But I think this is going to be not the same Venom. And I hope it's not, because it wouldn't make sense otherwise.
If this movie ends up having Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, involved in some form in the final cut that makes it to theaters, I will fucking eat my hat. I'm not wearing a hat right now, but I will put a hat on my head. I will remove it and I will put it down my gullet, because there is absolutely no way Disney is going to allow that to happen. Okay,
remind me. I'm going to keep you to this. Okay, so you're saying if Tom Holland is Spider-Man, you talk about suit, or are you talking about we refer to him on screen?
I mean,
or are you
if
talking
Tom
about
Holland shows up on camera in Venom and they refer to him as Peter Parker or Spider-Man, in whether he's in costume or not, I will eat a hat.
Okay.
I make
cool.
this deal with you, the devil, and we will see what happens.
I'm Mephisto.
You are Mephisto.
I know who that is.
But yeah, so there were rumors, like apparently he was on set. Who knows if he was actually filming? Yeah. But like maybe he was just there to be on set. But like, I would be very surprised if Disney allowed that to happen, because they do not want this movie to be part of their universe.
It's R-rated too.
Oh god, and they really want it to be part of their universe. They're doing their best to imply, but anyway, that trailer doesn't really give much. We'll have to kind of wait for the first real like story trailer to be able to get kind of a vibe of the movie. I don't know. Yeah.
Yes.
In Other news here, this is a little bit of a rumor, but it sounds like maybe a little bit more concrete than that. But it's also not an official like deal or anything. But it sounds like Joaquin Phoenix is in talks to play the Joker in that weird like prequel Joker spin-off movie that DC is talking about doing. That is very confusing how it fits into the continuity. It's like set in the 80s.
Also, you know remember? What's weird about this also is this supposed to take place before like Suicide Squad?
It doesn't sound like it fits into the continuity at all. It's set in the 80s.
That is so bizarre because like I feel like he can play like an older. He's kind of old now, Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, we're going to go back to the 80s, and the Joker is going to age 15 years. That's how the Joker works. Weird. He's a Benjamin Button clown. He's.
That'd be interesting. He's gay and he's Benjamin. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. He's pansexual. Joaquin Phoenix is interesting for it. I mean, he's an insane person, and I'm sure he would bring a lot to that role. I just feel like Joaquin Phoenix should have played him, 20 years ago.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't think the Joker, to me, has a defined age. I'd actually rather an older actor played him than a younger actor. I don't think, regardless your idea on Jared Leto's actual performance, I don't think he was a good fit to begin with for the role. But, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think he could do a very good job. He's a very capable actor, and he plays manic characters very well. So we'll see.
Oh yeah.
I don't.
You need to see The Master.
I have seen The Master. I don't really care for it all that much. It's a little too nihilistic for me. But
imagine that as the Joker's origin.
Yeah, so I don't really understand DC's film slate anymore, but that at least makes like a little bit of sense, I feel like, from a casting perspective. On the other hand, we have another thing here.
It's better than...
We have another thing here.
Also, I was going to say, better than Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, for sure.
God. On a kind of similar wavelength to that, however, in just completely... Just what are you doing decisions. We have Michael Bay potentially directing a Lobo movie. And I'm sorry, give me just one moment to just kind of collect my thoughts and give a reasoned kind of analysis of this news story. No. What? What? No. Why? No. Why is that a thing? Why would you do that? That's...
Doug, just watch the Transformers movies. Don't you have all the reasons right there?
One, have they learned... Like... They are suffering so badly from critical backlash. Their solution, moving forward, with all their public talk about about them wanting to improve their universe, is to hire Michael Bay to just double down on the bullshit, all visuals, no nonsense, like just nonsense plots of their movies, and just get the guy who just does that, who just lives in that grime and just shovels it on people. Just get him, and let's double down on the aspect of the universe that literally no one likes, is just the overly dark anti-hero, like, this is the 90s again, apparently, in comics aspect, and just get the most quintessential anti-hero 90s character in Lobo, and just do that, and just put those things together. Wonderful.
You know, if they really wanted to go this direction, why wouldn't they just ask James Cameron? I mean, I guess he's busy with Avatar, but like Michael Bay of all people, all directors in Hollywood,
just like they are doing a performance piece. They're like, this is the only explanation, is that Warner Brothers is doing this elaborate performance piece, making fun of the studio system, and at some point they will reveal to the world that they are, in fact, actually Joaquin Phoenix himself. They were all played by Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh my gosh! Wait, no, Doug. It's gonna be Joaquin Phoenix, but then Joaquin Phoenix is gonna take off his mask. There it is. It's going to be Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp. Oh my God. Time.
You're right. You know what? I did miss that very obvious swerve there, in that it was actually Joaquin Phoenix was Johnny Depp the whole time, and he's going to whisper, and he's,
Yep. That's it. Just so everybody knows, watch the end of, should I not spoil that? It's been out. Watch the end of, Fantastic Beasts,
just
and
please
where to
watch
find
the
them.
end of that movie, because it's one of the most nonsense endings to a movie I've ever seen. Yeah,
I love it. It's really funny. The reveal, the way it's done.
The reveal means nothing other than, look, it's a celebrity. It's Johnny Depp. He was Johnny Depp the whole time.
I was surprised it wasn't Matt Damon. Matt Damon's doing that too.
So we don't need to talk about that anymore. We've got some TV news this week. We had an actual Jessica Jones season 2 trailer, which doesn't give us a whole lot of information, other than it sounds like they're going to be digging a little bit more into her backstory.
Yeah, and we're going to get Hellcat,
in costume. Like, is she gonna?
Well, they high five, and she says, "I want to help you do all your shit."
Sure.
So they Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then we also get a maybe David Tennant as Kilgrave in a sort of Joker in Arkham Knight role, which is great.
My guess, yeah. He's it's been teased that he's going to be in this season in some form. I'm guessing it's going to be exactly that he is haunting her mind in some way. Yeah, he's
always been in her mind, and now he's going to be in her mind.
But still physically dead, though. He's not, I don't think he's actually going to be alive anymore. But I think
no, she broke his fucking neck.
I mean, weirder things have happened. This is the Marvel universe, but anyway.
Yeah. You mean Stranger
Things? What's his name? David Harbour as Hellboy is going to come in, and he's gonna fuck some shit up. I made 3 leaps in logic there that no one is going to understand. We also got a Legion premiere date. They released that on their Twitter. Mm-hmm. It's coming out on April 3rd, which is...
I think that's the day of WrestleMania. I think so this year. In any case, sorry. Sam and I really want to finish the first season, and I think we can before that date. It? No, we have not started yet, but we're gonna start it soon, and it's only 8 to 10 episodes, right?
I don't recall exactly. It's definitely less than a normal season of TV. It's 15 or less. I would guess 10 is probably in the right ballpark. Because it's one of those shows where where it's a limited season order. It's 8 episodes apparently. So definitely doable before April. It's super great. You should watch it. You would love it.
I'm really excited. I just started watching some Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Netflix too. So that's on my own though. I'm not making Sam do that. So we're both gonna watch it. I'm really excited. Yeah. It's gonna be great. And excited for the next one that you have on here too.
So Jeff Johns also on Twitter teased.
I think just yesterday.
He put up a post that was the episode title of one of the, I guess, episode 5 of this first season of the live action Titans series, the Teen Titans live action series that they're doing on DC's or on WB's streaming network. And the title is Doom Patrol. So, and he says the Titans are getting some company. So sounds like Doom Patrol is going to be on Titans. And my interest in that show just shot up about 10,000%. So,
oh my God. Oh, it's so cool. And do they say that this is going to be in their universe or no?
In their cinematic universe? I doubt it.
Yeah.
I mean, none of their other TV stuff is.
On the CW, but this is their own streaming service and everything.
I would be surprised if it was in... But still, this is so cool.
Yeah,
it's very exciting.
It's so awesome. Live action Robot Man.
I don't know. I don't have high hopes that this show is going to be good because I don't generally like a lot of DC's live action TV stuff. Sorry to anyone out there who likes Flash or Legends of Tomorrow or anything like that. They're just not for me. I don't quite like the writing on them. But if this show is good, I am super down for a live action Doom Patrol. That is something I never thought I would see. It's just really news, just by virtue of who would have predicted that was a thing.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to comics news.
Cool. We have DC announced 2 new young reader imprints. That's always a continuing complaint in modern comics that the intended audience of mainstream comics is always getting more and more mature, or did, I guess, in the last 20 years. They've maybe eased off a little bit from that. But it's always a concern, what are kids going to read? Because this was a medium that was originally intended more or less for children.
What about the children?
What shall they do? So they announced.
Okay, so this is
they announced 2 new imprints. We've got DC Ink and DC Zoom. DC Ink is focused on young adult audiences, and I was confused by this at first because I don't really understand the distinction.
This young animal.
What? No.
Sorry, when I saw YA, I thought it was young animal.
But this is. Yeah, it's geared towards young adult audiences, while DC Zoom is focused on middle grade readers. So I guess that means young adult audiences is older than middle grade. Then I would have considered that to be a very broad category that would have included middle school. But anyway, I maybe Weird. It's more specific than that in the publishing world. I'm not sure. But yeah, so yeah, Ink focused more towards high school age, I guess, and then DC Zoom focusing on younger readers than that, middle school. So that's cool. They also are releasing a book called Superman Smashes the Klan as part of this.
What? Wait, the Klan?
The Klan
KKK?
With a K. Superman Smashes the Klan.
That's weird. You'd think if they're going on young adult stuff, you'd think they'd want to tackle,
right?
Issues that are at the forefront that young adults know about, not things that were, big issues, in the 50s.
In anything, the last few years have shown us that maybe those things didn't quite go away, and maybe this is fairly timely.
Yes, but I'm talking about maybe in a more nuanced way that young adults aren't going to be oh, this is golden age. It sounds very golden age, doesn't it?
I don't know. I think there's merit to Superman going out and smashing some racists in today's day and age. I think that could be great.
Okay. I mean, I guess it has to do with the execution for sure. It
does sound bizarre and is not what you would have expected to come out of this. Because that's some heavy material. But yeah, so they're doing that. That's cool. They are also in other weird kind of comics news. I don't know if this is actually going to be interesting or not, but Marvel announced that they're doing this interactive Deadpool comic called You Are Deadpool.
What?
It's bizarre sounding. So it's like part choose your own adventure where like all the panels are numbered and you make decisions and then you go to different numbered panels to continue the story. But then they also have like, there's some kind of like mechanics built into this. Like they have a cut and build like die in the middle of it that you cut out and fold a die, and then you roll it, and there's like combat. So like God. There'll be parts of it that'll be determined by dice rolls, which is weird.
But it's printed. It's like it's not online.
I think this is one would assume that this is a printed thing, assuming it with its if it's a cut and fold die in the middle. Because I don't.
Jesus. I mean, Deadpool is the place to experiment with something like this. So
he's like talking in this preview stuff they put out. He's like talking directly to you and explaining the rules.
Oh my God.
It's
okay. Weird,
seems like it's
cool.
Probably more geared towards. I mean, it's definitely geared more towards kids, but it could be entertaining. I'm curious to see just from like a craft standpoint, like what could you do with something like that? That could be fun.
It's good they're trying creative things cool. like that.
They also put out, in other kind of news this week, they put out a trailer for that Wolverine podcast. Yeah.
Did you listen to it?
I still think this whole thing is bizarre, and it is not know that this is going to be on a paid service.
Okay, so here's what it is. It's gonna be on a paid service in March.
Okay.
This March. But then it's gonna go to all services for free later.
Okay. Before arriving on all other podcast platforms in the fall. I missed that. Okay.
Yes.
And it's written by Ben Percy, who's a big DC writer. He writes Green Arrow, and I think Teen Titans. And I like Green Arrow quite a bit. I haven't read it in a while, because I was a little bit disappointed in the varying qualities of the art. But his stories were very good, very true to Green Arrow. So I'm curious to see what he could do with Wolverine. And I'm just very curious, like, is there a narrator? Is Wolverine narrating in first person? Like, how does a really I know this is not like groundbreaking. There are people who are doing like old like radio dramas since podcasts kind of blew up. But like,
yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing, Doug.
I mean, this is a fictional ongoing narrative that we are creating. My name is actually Henry Purvis,
yes.
And I do live in Alaska, and I am 90 years old.
And I am Frank Never.
Oh, wow. You're a hot dog man with sunglasses.
I know. Full
circle.
Okay, go on. But I think it's going to be really cool. It's a murder mystery, supposedly. And they're, accusing Wolverine of all these murders. But, he has to clear his name, probably. It's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah. I'm just very curious what they're going to do with it. In game news this week, we had, they put out...
Oh, yeah, I saw
so we knew they were coming, but they finally put out some gameplay of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Injustice 2. TMNT.
Mm-hmm.
In Injustice 2. They're one of the guest characters in the final character pack for Injustice 2. And I was really curious how they were actually going to handle them, because the character is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like, collectively, and how the mechanics were going to support it somehow being that would assume that it's not just like the character is Michelangelo, or Raphael or whoever.
Now wait, is how it works? I think what it's going to be is like you swap by doing B. I think their special power is that they're going to swap.
It sounds like they put out it looks like they put out a video that explains exactly how it works. And so they have a number of shared attacks, but then you switch which turtle you're playing as by swapping their weapon in their gear. So like you'll swap for the nunchucks, and it'll be Michelangelo, and he'll like his stuff will turn orange. He'll get the orange mask, and you swap for the staff, and it's who is that? Leonardo. And anyway, so that's how they swap, and then that apparently affects how their moves work. It's their specific moves that are built to have like that switched out. So like this isn't their weapon, but apparently like if you swap for Michelangelo, a combo that someone else would finish with their staff or whatever would he hits them with a skateboard, you know, like, so like it kind of switches up their animations a little bit. I assume their voice, I don't know.
Do you know when they come out with those characters?
I don't think they announced when. Let me see. Did they announce when this is coming out? February 13th. February 13th, if you already have like the I'm an idiot package, or just like the package for the Fighter Pack 3. That includes all that third wave of DLC characters, but also yes, the idiot package that I got. The I am a gullible idiot. Here's your stupid thing package.
I'm so excited to get this game for like $15, the Ultimate Edition with everything included.
And you're just gonna lord that over me. I can't not. I have a compulsion.
I know.
So that's cool.
In any case,
very exciting. I am excited to try them out. I still have not tried out Hellboy. And I tried out the Atom the other day. I jumped in just for like a match or two just to see what he was like. And he's very fun. Very, very fun. Yeah.
It's good.
Cool. So that was news this week. I think we're going to move into our weekly comics. So every week, we read a stack of comics. We read some comics.
This is the young adult version.
This is the young adult version of the Comics Cover Podcast. I'm gonna do the whole Western show like this. I'm Elmer Fudd, apparently.
Yeah, you kind of
turned into Elmer Fudd. Did you know that Tom King, a little while back, they did a bunch of like DC / Looney Tunes mashup comics, and Tom King wrote an Elmer Fudd / Batman special that was apparently amazing.
Bizarre. How do we get our hands on that?
I mean, I'm sure you can go to your store and find it.
Why
if they
didn't
have
you
issues
read that?
I was not interested in any of those, but apparently it was very good. I have very little interest in weird mashup-y stuff from different publishers like that. But
weird. Wow.
But apparently it's very good. I am very curious to go back and read it at some point. With art by Lee Weeks, who did the did an annual or something with Tom King on Batman. Every week we read a stack of comics. And we have some shared books, and we have some books that we read on our own.
Yes,
and the shared books that we read this week.
Do I get to read off the shared since you have some on your own?
Sure, you go right ahead.
Okay, we had shared books because you're eating up runtime, and I'm seeing my recording my voice on here. I'm losing it, Doug. Everyone's getting all of you. Sorry. In any case, our shared books this week are Avengers number 679, Justice League number 38, Mother Panic / Batman Special number 1, or Milk Wars Part 2, Swamp Thing Winter Special number 1.
Mm-hmm. And then I also read Batman number 40, The Damned number 8, Paper Girls number 20.
Damn it.
And what?
Sorry, you said The Damned.
Oh. And Superman number 40.
By the way, speaking of Paper Girls, Samantha had that was one of them that she wanted the volume 1 of. So I have volume 1 trade of Paper Girls.
It's great. It's a great book. I'm going to talk about it in a few minutes here.
Fun.
Yeah.
And I also got She-Hulk, which I'll talk a little bit about it, but it was the best. It's probably been the best issues thus far. It's crazy. They're going to be done next week. So sad.
Done next week?
Yeah, next week next month is the last issue.
Okay, I was confused. So they have one more issue though left.
One more issue.
Cool. I mean, not cool. That's sad, but
it's sad.
Yeah. And we're gonna do a new bit this week. We're gonna pick our favorite cover of the week.
Wait. The cover of the week.
Oh Jesus, Jack, did you mess with your audio settings at all in some horrible way? Because I
just moved the microphone back and forth from my mouth just now.
Right, it sounded horrible. So don't do that again.
Oh, okay, I won't do it. Sorry, Jesus.
So my favorite cover this week. I know we're going to talk about this book in a minute, but like I could not pick anything other than Swamp Thing Winter Special #1.
Oh, hell no!
Like of
course you can't.
It's such a good cover. This is a Jason Fabok cover, and it's just like a really good mixture of colors. I don't know if this is. I assume this cover was colored by. Did Jordi Belair color this? I think Jordi.
Wouldn't his name be on the front?
Brad Anderson. I don't know. I can't see a signature. But anyway, I know the cover is drawn by Jason Fabok. Whoever did the color, if it was Brad Anderson or if Jason Fabok did it himself, it's like the cold colors mixed with the warm colors is really strong, and the little boy like in this weird fiery center of Swamp Thing, really striking.
Of course. Yeah. Especially when we learn, everything that happens in this goddamn issue. Yeah. It's just...
what was your favorite comic cover?
My cover of the week, actually, was She-Hulk. Because a similar idea, actually, to what that looks like. It's this... So She-Hulk has been gray instead of green ever since her battle with Thanos or whatever. And that's sort of... looked at as her out of control Hulk. So the cover of She-Hulk is the gray face and sort of dissected and split down the middle. And then it's her human face, Jennifer Walters, dissected down the middle with the green Hulk, in a fetal position in the middle of all of them.
Did you say,
it's really, really,
did you say the issue number for this? It's 162 if you didn't.
162. Yeah, I didn't. But, no, it's just really, I really like it because that's
a really strong cover. That's a really good cover. I had not seen this until just now. I looked it up.
Oh, really? Oh, it's great. I really like it because, well, let me just give quick thoughts on this one because we're not going to talk about it that much. This whole issue is about her going to some random woman and getting help and finding her sort of center with Hulk, trying to get more control over it. So a lot of it takes place in her head. And it's definitely the strongest issue by far. And this cover, it embodies that entire idea. So it's great. Big fan.
All right.
Very sad.
Yeah. That's a really good cover. And then, spoiler warning, we're about to talk about in detail, the books we read this week. So if you haven't read, any of the books we just mentioned, we are definitely going to talk about our 2 picks, and we might talk about some of those others. Our 2 picks for the week being, I picked, Swamp Thing, Winter Special #1. And,
I picked Justice League, number 38.
So spoiler sound. So let's quick talk about Swamp Thing Winter Special. Yeah. You have not read any Swamp Thing before, correct?
Ever. The only thing I've ever seen with Swamp Thing is the story from Injustice 2 when he shows up and he started talking about the green and stuff. So I know that. But honestly, like I just read this last night with Samantha as well. And she loved it too. Like you don't need to know anything. The way you just need to know that he is the embodiment, the avatar through which the green defends itself, sort of thing. And the green being Mother Nature. And that's all you need to know. And it's so great, such little real estate he uses to tell this great story with great subtext. And I'll let you pick, since it's your pick. Go ahead.
First off, before I get into this, I just want you to, you just kind of slip that into conversation there, and I would like you to please explain to the listeners the method by which you and your girlfriend read comics together.
Okay, I don't understand what's wrong with it, because I basically read the words while I'm looking at it, like just like you would read a comic in your head, read the words, look at the image and whatever. And then she basically, well, I mean, we switch off the reading part, obviously. But, and then the person who's not reading, they look at the picture and they glance at the lettering and everything just to get that idea out of there. But they look at the picture while they're hearing the things. And then, you put a little bit of, character into your voice so you can tell who's talking and who's talking. We also read the entirety of God Country together. Mm-hmm. So I got my Southern Texas accent on as opposed to the God kind of sounds. Mm-hmm. What is wrong with that?
What you've done here is you've essentially done an IRL reenactment of like dramatic readings on YouTube of comics. And the picture in my head of the two of you holding a singular comic and one of you reading it aloud to the other one is I treasure it. I treasure it, Jack. What? And I would just like to leave that gem with our audience.
Like I don't understand what you mean by treasure it. Like it's fun. It's a fun thing to do together.
It's a weird way to read comics.
Whatever.
So Swamp Thing Winter Special. You gave a pretty good setup for kind of like you don't need really much experience for this book. Swamp Thing is trudging through this kind of endless winter. He's got this boy. They're on the run from the boy keeps saying like the monster's gonna get us. The monster's gonna get us. Who's apparently this monster who causes it to snow. And this winter is just never ending. And eventually, spoilers, turns out that the little boy is actually the monster. And this whole time, the Swamp Thing has been trying to convince this boy, or not convince the boy, but kind of come to grips with like whether or not this boy sees him as a monster or not. And it's and kind of come to grips with the fact that he is a monster, and kind of the idea of coming to terms with kind of the monster in yourself, kind of for all of us. And I specifically wanted to talk about this because every time, I mean, like, Tom King books are amazing. Every book that I read from Tom King is always great. But, like, every time he randomly does, like, a weird one-shot story like this, it always strikes me like that, wow, this is the shit he's really good at. He excels at telling a contained story in a limited amount of pages and giving you the full kind of arc of a story in a contained bit of comics. It's really, really well done. You get a whole complete story here in this these, I think this is 40 pages, so it's technically, it's not technically, that's like 2 issues worth, but
yeah.
It's just really, really strong storytelling that he's able to do that.
Well, what I like about it, Tom King must be aware of, because I think what he's done here, on top of what he's done with the writing in Mr. Miracle, he has this great grasp on, I think, what mental illness means to people. Because I think that's what this issue is kind of about. You have Swamp Thing carrying his burden, or what I would say his illness somehow, his inability to grieve and to let go, his in constant denial. He's carrying it with him, and he won't accept that it's there to relieve himself of it a little bit. And that on top of his awareness of how depression is in Mr. Miracle, I just think he's really good at writing. He has this really great idea of how mental illness affects people. And I think that's really what this is about, especially with the radio broadcast talking about, the radio broadcaster playing the role of people who are like, oh, you don't have to be scared of that. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. It's all you. It's not anything else. And then, obviously the football player being like, no, I feel like it's something else. There's something else controlling me. It can't be all me. It's impossible. So I love this. I think it's amazing. I don't know. What do you think about that? I know I come from like a mental illness sort of being very aware of that. What do you think about that?
I hadn't thought of it in that light, but I do think that definitely I think that's definitely a valid reading of this. I can't say for certain because I don't think it's explicit, whether or not that was the intent, but I definitely think it fits with the ideas he's talking about here, and I think it would fit for the character. I definitely think there's an argument to be made there. I think the point about the football player actually makes that make a bit more sense to me from that reading of this. It's just, God, can Tom King please get a Swamp Thing book? He did.
Hey, but you never know. Maybe he'll make great issues, but not a great story as a whole. Who knows?
This is the exact opposite of what I was just saying, is that he does his best work in single issues, but I also, at the same time, think he would kill it on a Swamp Thing ongoing series. He did another one-shot. It's not really a one-shot, but the story itself is a one-shot. An issue of Batman, in the last year, they did kind of a palate cleanser one-shot between arcs that was Batman and Swamp Thing. And it is really good, and kind of about their differing views on morality and life. And it's a really fascinating kind of comparison of those two characters that you just how do you even draw comparisons between Swamp Thing and Batman? But they make some really interesting kind of character observations about them by contrasting them, and it's great. It's really really good. And also the title of that story is The Brave and the Mold. Because Tom King has a wonderful sense of humor.
That's great. That's great.
Yep.
What'd you think? I saw you wrote a little bit about the Len Wein thing. What are your thoughts? Because I loved the art in this. I think the story comes out even from just the art.
Yeah. So the scenario here is Len Wein, who died just this last year, a few months ago. I feel like we talked about it on the show. So it's within the last 3 months or so, something like that. He scripted the first. He did a scripting pass at the first issue of a new Swamp Thing miniseries. He's the writer who created Swamp Thing and a number of other characters. He did a lot of work at Marvel on the X-Men books, so he created Wolverine, Nightcrawler, I think Colossus, a lot of that kind of group of X-Men. But he created Swamp Thing, and this was his new miniseries. He did not get to the lettering pass, so he had not written all the specific dialogue for this issue. But they had Kelly Jones, who was going to do the art for that series, basically did the art based on the script, and they presented it first unlettered, basically just showing kind of the visual realization of his script, because that's all that they had, and then they presented his actual script at the end. And I just, something about seeing the unfinished issue that he was in the middle of making, combined with just what is very clearly a really strong, because he created the character, a really strong understanding of the world and feeling of Swamp Thing, and tone. It just really hit me in a way that like that he's no longer around. Like he literally died while making this, and I found it pretty kind of touching. Not touching is maybe not the right word, although I guess that they put this out is touching. But yeah, just kind of a little bit emotional, I feel like.
I definitely understand what you mean. Like, obviously, I didn't know anything about this man, but whenever you see, like, it's hard to ignore when you have this unfinished work and you have his words right here, talking about, okay, we want a full pager here, using all the, things he probably always said in his scripts. We want this. I think at the end he's like, you always do well or something like that, or you know what it is. See you in a month. That's see you in a month at the end of his script, he says.
Yeah.
I understand exactly what you mean. And it is a really nice start to a story too.
Yeah.
And, him and Batman working together. I like how you're just talking about their sort of differences between each other. I also really liked how she drew Batman with the big ass ears and old costume, right?
I'm not 100% sure if Kelly Jones is a man or a woman, but they did a previous miniseries together, and Kelly Jones is like one of the best fits for Swamp Thing. It's just like really good understanding of the visuals of that series and kind of the weird grotesque nature of all this stuff. I especially love how I'm gonna look Kelly Jones up right now. How Kelly Jones draws the like when Swamp Thing like comes out of plants and stuff, the weird, gross. It is a man. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, Kelly. Are you talking about the scene?
There's a scene where he comes out in like a hospital. And there's another. They're like he comes out of a potted plant, and Len Wein loves to write those sequences, and Kelly Jones draws the shit out of them. Just like how he like like all his innards and stuff like stretch out of the plant and stuff. It's really gross and great.
Yeah, I didn't know he could do that.
He can travel basically wherever there is plant life. He can just kind of grow himself out of the plant.
Wow.
Yeah. Really striking seeing kind of where he was, kind of what he was doing when he died. But we also read this week your pick, which was Justice League number 38.
Oh, sorry. Did you see this picture at the end with him sitting by the desk with Wolverine and everyone like that?
Yeah, they did a little
tribute.
Tribute drawing at the end by who's the artist on this? Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. Which has him sitting at a desk with Swamp Thing and Wolverine, and then he wrote. I don't think he created these characters, but he wrote for Deadman and Hulk, so they're kind of as models on his desk, and it's a very nice little tribute drawing. Yep.
Huh. Okay, but yeah, as Doug said, my pick is Justice League, and I don't want to spend too long on this, but I just want to talk about Justice League because there's some weird shit going on. Like you read this, right, Doug?
I did.
You read it and everything. Okay. So things I'm wondering about. Like I like this issue. Don't get me wrong. I like this issue. It's one of my favorites actually of this run so far. I think it was really great. All the Flash stuff in space, I think was awesome. Mm-hmm. I think it was really cool seeing more Flash as a part of the Justice League, because a lot of times you do get that focus on the Trinity, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. I thought that last time we saw, the Fan had just escaped, right? From Batman and everybody after they tried to get him.
Yes.
Right? did we miss something? They're talking about how Batman is like going crazy over the fan and trying to get him. Like, don't you think it would have been good to like maybe establish him as going crazy? Because we haven't really seen him go crazy over the fan yet. Have we?
You know, this series is doing a lot of editing, like in terms of time. This is something that Priest has been doing in the previous issues. He's skipping right to all the meat of all this stuff. He's skipping over a lot of content and just like throwing out the status quos in dialogue, which is something that you don't see a lot nowadays in comics. They feel the need to kind of like elaborate on everything, and I kind of find that a little bit refreshing. I'm not saying it's necessarily better or worse, but it's that is definitely a tack that he's taking, an approach he's taking in this book is kind of like he is just dropping like that Batman has been obsessing over this fan in dialogue. And I don't think that you are missing any information. I don't think that I needed to see that. But also, I don't think that they're specifically talking about like that anything specific happened between issues. It's just that I think they're more talking about the general idea that Batman, since the start of the series, the idea that he's been overworking himself in general.
I know. I just feel like it hasn't been driven home all that much ever since the first issue. Like, he's just been Batman after that.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Like, it has been more hinted at than anything since then. But
I get what you mean, and honestly, I'll bet what he's doing it because he knows he's almost done, you know, because he is almost done. He's got like, what, 4 more issues or something?
I don't know that I would assume, this series didn't start that long ago. I would assume they went into this knowing the exact number of issues he was going to have before this big Snyder event and series takes it over. Like, I don't think that he's like rushing to wrap it up. I assume he knew exactly how many issues he was going to have to write this story. But I see where you're coming from. It didn't really bother me, but
I gotcha. I mean, it doesn't bother. Like I said, this issue I think is still one of my favorites because I think it does a lot of really cool things. And the only other thing that I'm confused about is I think something that you probably know what I'm going to say, right?
What? I don't know.
With Batman?
No, I don't actually. What are you talking about?
Him and
oh god, I forgot about that. Yeah, so they they didn't establish that at all. Like, they have been kind of like establishing a little bit more of like a rapport between them in this series, but not in a romantic sense. And at the end of this issue, if you haven't read the issue, Bruce Wayne he is no longer the chairman of the Justice League. He gave that to Cyborg at the end of this issue, but he's leaving. He's like packing up his stuff to kind of go on a break, I think. And he's packing up his stuff, and Jessica Cruz, one of the Green Lanterns on the team, comes up to him and kisses him.
Do you think this has something to do with like I don't know, I feel like this is not like, we're not seeing them kiss. I feel like this is something weird. Like
she's whispering to him or something?
Like, they know something about the fan having microphones all over the place, or they want to make him think something, or maybe even something having to do with that one guy that randomly came that just had a lot of time with in that first fight.
Yeah, I don't know where this came from or where it's going. It's weird. I don't really understand it, but hopefully there's some sort of follow-up on it. It's not just kind of a drive-by thing. Like, this goes somewhere.
I'm sure this will. It's too weird. It's this full page thing. It's a well done page, I think, too, with the panel.
The moment is really well done. It's just a matter of like, if that's actually what's happening, if she kisses him here, which I guess it is true. They don't show like profile of their faces touching, but yeah. Like, it's just a matter of whether or not that moment was earned, I guess. I
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like they were building towards that, which does maybe lend some credence to maybe there is something more going on there. Maybe she is whispering, or maybe they are doing some sort of ruse. I don't know.
Also, I will say, Bruce, if you look at the middle picture of their full body shots, Bruce does kind of have a bulge.
Oh my god.
I'm just saying, man, they draw that bulge for a reason.
So that was, do you have any more thoughts? I do have.
That was about it. I liked this. I like all the Flash stuff. I think that was great. I wanted to talk about the confusion.
Yeah. Also, they switched artists again this issue, which I found kind of annoying.
I liked this better. I liked this a lot better. Didn't you think?
It was different enough from, what's his name? I don't remember who the normal artist from the first few issues was, but
Woods.
Pete Woods. It's different enough from that I can kind of view this a little bit more on its own. I did really like the art in this issue. It's pretty stock DC stuff, but it's good DC stuff. I
liked it better than the last one. Looked like just like a regular cartoon or something.
Yeah.
It was weird.
But I find it a little bit frustrating that they... I at least like it if they have to do rotating artists, when it's like they just switch back and forth, like it's just the two of them. But whatever. This artist, Marco Santucci, no one gave him a memo that Superman's costume changed a few like 6 months ago, but sure. This is his original Rebirth costume. Really, the only thing that's changed is he has a different belt, and then he doesn't have those cuff links, like cuff bracers anymore. But not a huge difference. But
okay.
Anyway,
well, Doug, do you have a panel of the week?
I do have a panel of the week. It's a piece of toast. I'm gonna drive that joke into the dirt. So, Paper Girls this week, had a really great moment. They've been establishing for the last, they have established like a few issues ago that there are these giant robots in their town. And I know you're about to read the series. I won't spoil too much. I'm just going to talk very vaguely about this, but
very vaguely.
There's just a really cool moment. I mean, you're going to get a minor spoiler here. It's not really. I'm not going to say anything about the characters or anything, but there are all these little girls. They've been picked up by a giant robot, and there have been these giant robots for the last few issues, and they have a panel here where they're in this giant robot's hand, and they zoom out, and this giant robot is like the size of a skyscraper, and they zoom out to a big full page splash of they're in this giant robot's hand, and behind the giant robot is a even bigger robot. And it's kind of like conceptually a kind of stupid reveal, but the way it's drawn here with like foreground, what for the last few issues has been like this giant, monumental, enormous thing holding all these tiny, tiny, tiny little people in his hand. And you can see all their figures. And then behind him, this reveal of this fucking, it's like 10 times its size.
Like Godzilla robot?
Well, this normal robot is like Godzilla robot, and this is like 10 times that size, and it's just there all of a sudden with like nothing hinting at it before that moment. And just the varying scales happening in that image all at once is a really fun, dumb, but super fun reveal, how it's done. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I didn't really listen to a lot of the specifics of you just now. So, even if you did spoil something, I just don't really know what it's about at all. I just know there are robots now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you can listen to what I'm going to say. You will, because this is ending.
I'm going to tune you up.
So, the interior monologue, it happens a lot with, comics. They have the narrating squares, right? I assume that's all the time, correct?
I mean, not all the time. It depends on what the writer wants to do, but like that is interior monologue has become a fairly prevalent thing in modern comics. Yeah.
So this book, Miss Jen Walters has an interior monologue a lot. They've been doing it this whole series, and it starts with that. She's gone to this woman's house who is named Flo. She's a best-selling author of many self-help books. And I guess she's reached out to Jen Walters before, since her accident in not being able to control herself. And this woman, Flo, thinks that she can help her. So, she mentions, wait, where is this? This will work better if you can cut the interior monologue for a bit, Jen. And then Then Jen makes fun of her, being like, is this part where you tell me I'm getting very sleepy? And then she's like, oh, I thought we were doing hypnosis. Kind of, but not really, Flo says. And then Jen has a lot more interior monologue, like, I've called her a few times. What do I want her to do? I don't really know. All I managed was, when I called 2 days ago, was help me. And she said yes. She said, if you want help, we must go deeper. Also, and then we see Flo, a close-up of her face, looking annoyed. I said no interior monologue. Right. And then there's no interior monologue for the rest of the entire issue. And I love that because I've accepted this interior monologue, these squares, as just a part of every single thing. And it's like a big fourth wall break, seemingly, to me, when they just say, no, you can't do that. Like, Jen's sitting here listening to her, but this person knows that she's just thinking to herself in her own mind. I said, no, stop it. Because this entire rest of this issue takes place in her mind with some really great visuals and some flashbacks to her battle with Thanos, some visuals of her talking to her Grey Hulk, which is not the one she's in control of, and then I don't know. It's a really cool break into her mind, and I think what this series is going to end up doing is just bringing her to the point where she can control her, Hulk again, and she's green again, and she's also coming to terms with, I guess Bruce Banner died? He died a while back, yeah. Oh wait, I guess she hasn't come to terms with that either, because she talks to him a little bit. And then she beats him up. Oh, there's a really cool page of here, them fighting as they're both their Hulks, and she's mad at him because I guess he could have asked for her help, and then he's like, no, I couldn't have, or whatever, and then, she has a lot of fears and shit, but getting over those fears, a lot like Swamp Thing, allows her to be stronger, and she destroys Flo's house. But, in any case, that sorry, I just went over the entire issue, but the, no interior monologue thing, I think it was really, really fun because I don't get to, they're referencing this thing that's happened in comics ever since I've been reading, so.
Great.
I like it.
I have a challenge for you now, Jack.
Oh.
Can you please, and I don't think we did this for the first issue, so I think this is interesting to please explain to our audience in one sentence. Mother Panic Batman Special, number 1. The second chapter of Milk Wars. I'm fascinated to hear you explain this because I don't know what was happening in half of this issue.
Yeah.
But what you can understand, what you can wrap your head around, please explain.
Okay. Mother Panic, a woman with a okay relationship with her mother, strange one maybe, and a dark past, confronts a group which is brainwashing children that is headed by a brainwashed Batman with highly religious themes, and concludes her confrontation by showing, making Batman remember he is brainwashed.
I mean, she smashes the weird milk nun. So, this is
the milk nun. Oh, I forgot the milk nun.
There's a milk nun. She smashes her. She's like made of glass, I guess.
Yes. Yes. I forgot.
Call me.
That's right.
Mrs. Glass.
This fictional podcast is in the M. Night Shyamalan universe.
Oh, we have to summon James McAvoy.
And then we get the eye at the end too. Sorry.
Yeah, this real weird. Neither of us is normally reading Mother Panic, but we thought we'd at least try to jump into this book to just see, like, if we understand what's happening. I'm not sure I'm gonna pick up the Shade, the Changing Girl / Wonder Woman book, because I was pretty lost here, other than the idea of there being milk that is brainwashing people, and I don't think that I gained a whole lot of information in this that didn't go away in this issue at the end.
We really didn't learn anything. Other than this is what happened in Gotham,
I don't think that this was necessarily a bad issue. It seems like it has some hooks into the normal series and stuff, and if you were reading Mother Panic, just like how we're normally reading Doom Patrol, and we really enjoyed that first issue of Doom Patrol and JLA, and had actual ramifications for the series, I feel like this also does. It had some moments, like she's seemingly taking this little girl on as her ward. But having no bearing on that series, I didn't know what the hell was happening half of the time, and I feel like I could just as easily just jump to the last issue, having skipped this, and be like, okay, Mother Panic is here, and she knows about the milk. You know? Like, I don't know. But...
yeah. No, I think I'll skip the next one, too.
I'm definitely going to be picking up the Cave Carson Swamp Thing one, just because I am reading Cave Carson. But...
maybe you can describe to me what's going on.
I'll probably just give you the lowdown if anything important happens in that. But yeah, so I think you did as good of a job as can be done with this book. Next week we have a lot of.
Oh my god, there's so much.
Good God, there's a lot of books.
Do you have more than this?
I do, I believe. Unless all my books next week are shared books, which would be interesting, which would be like an unfortunate coincidence for you, because you were let's see, next week I've got a few in addition. A few.
Jesus
Although
Christ.
I guess I can take...
Granted, we can take out Shade the Changing Girl.
So we've got Captain America, number 698. We've got, and you don't have to pick this up, but I definitely will be, Dark Knight's Dark Knight's Rising, The Wild Hunt. This is... Grant
Morrison is co-writing this.
Yes, this is...
So I want to do this. Yeah, I want to break this up. If there's going to be a tie-in, I get all the other tie-ins. I'm going to get the good ones.
Yeah. I don't entirely know the entire creative team, but it's Scott Snyder, Grant Morrison, maybe some of the other...
James Tynion IV.
Is he also co-writing this? Okay. I think it's the normal, like the creative team who wrote Batman Lost, but then also Grant Morrison, which is going to heavily feature Detective Chimp.
No way.
I mean, Detective Chimp has shown up he was in the Oblivion bar in an earlier issue of Metal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I figured you wouldn't have remembered that or had any real reason to know who that was. But Grant Morrison has written stuff about Detective Chimp before, so it makes sense. So yeah, that's the thing. We've also got Doctor Strange number 385, Marvel 2-in-1 number 3. We've got Paradiso number 3 that I'm slightly on the fence about picking up anymore, just because I'm on the heavier end of how big my pull list usually gets. So
no, I know. I'm gonna give this one a shot. I think
I'm going to read at least this next one, and if it doesn't blow me away, I might drop it.
Yeah, no,
it's a good book.
I think. It's
a good
book.
Book.
It's a huge universe that, and after, I just started reading Saga, after seeing how well Brian K. Vaughan introduces that huge universe and how it's just so gripping the entire time. It's hard. Like, I remember this one. It's like, this is a huge universe. It's an interesting universe, but it's just not been as gripping.
It's like nothing's gonna look amazing when you compare it all to Brian K. Vaughan stuff, but I get your point. Like, it's a solid indie sci-fi series. I haven't been blown away by it yet, by anything other than the art's amazing. But yeah, I'm gonna give it another issue. If it really picks up in this one, I'll keep reading it. If not, I might drop it. It doesn't sound like we're gonna be picking up Shade the Changing Girl / Wonder Woman special, but that's coming out in case one of us calls an audible or something. And Avengers number 680, which is weekly, so of course it is.
Yeah. Wait, brief thoughts. I don't remember what happened. Nothing much happened, right?
They went into the backstory. They went into the backstory of Grandmaster and this other
Jeff
character,
Goldblum.
the Challenger. Yeah, he was played by Jeff Goldblum in Thor Ragnarok. But apparently, there was another character who also went by the Grandmaster at some point, and they have.
So Jeff Goldblum's probably going to move. He's probably going to show up more, right? That seems to be a big character.
I mean, they're making him a big character now that he was played by Jeff Goldblum in a movie.
But isn't the Grandmaster, it's like the Grandmaster, the Collector, and like 4 other people that they mentioned there. Aren't they the people that had the Infinity Stones at first, right?
They're Celestials. I don't exactly recall what exactly their role in the Infinity Stones was. Maybe they might have made them. I know that's what it is in the movies. But I don't know. These characters weren't very big before, like the Collector and the Grandmaster and these other characters definitely were not very huge before these movies. They were pretty small.
Okay.
But they definitely have a much more elevated kind of existence profile now.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
Well, Doug, we have like 4 minutes to maybe talk about the thing I finished with Sam, mind you.
Mm-hmm. So you've read all of God Country this week.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
You tell me what you thought about it.
Talk about fucking touching. It's like Sam and I, we were in tears. Like we were teared up. You can't not tear up. It's the best, like, it's one of the best father-son stories and accepting things and moving on from things I've ever experienced. Like, I'm talking about movies, I'm talking about reading, I'm talking about, in terms of books, I don't know if I've ever been as, like, emotionally, like, just taken by a book as I was with this. And it's just insane that it was, like, oh my god, the way they go through everything and talk about building characters through action as well.
Yeah.
Like this one, it never stops. There's no stopping what's going on. It's always, we gotta do this now, gotta do this now. But there's so much depth within everything they do. And the comparisons between the father losing his mind and the Mad King losing his kingdom. Like him just clinging on to the last bit of, power that they both have. It is just amazing piece of work. Yeah. I'm so much more convinced in Donny Cates, even after already reading Doctor Strange and Thanos. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is just, I can't even.
Yeah. So I think we talked briefly about this book. I talked about it briefly on a past episode. I feel like I talked about it a little bit on our year-end wrap-up episode. But so this is a book by, if anyone doesn't know, by Donny Cates, art by Jeff Shaw.
Sorry, I don't know if I spoiled any. I don't think I spoiled anything just now, but I feel like we should stay away from spoilers because everyone, if you haven't read this shit, you have to read this shit.
Yeah,
it is. Like that Vice article. I am so much more mad now at that motherfucker. Fuck him in his ass. I'm sorry. Like, what the fuck? You don't read this shit and you're not like, oh my god, this is the pinnacle of like my life.
Yeah. I'm gonna explain what this book is now.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Is Donny Cates with art by Jeff Shaw. It's an Image series from last year. You can buy it in a nice contained trade. I think it's 4 or 6 issues, something like that.
6 issues.
It's 6 issues. So it's a normal sized trade. And it's,
I think they're larger issues than normal though.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's thicker.
Yeah. But it's a really, really good self-contained. It's its own universe. It's a creator-owned book, and it's kind of all about there's just the basic premise, not to spoil anything more in the story, is there is a family, and his father has dementia or Alzheimer's. I don't remember if do they specify exactly what
Alzheimer's, which I think is kind of going into a lot of people. Yeah, it's Alzheimer's.
He's kind of losing. He's senile, losing his grip on reality a little bit, or quite a bit, like no foot in reality, and
violently too.
He basically receives, in a weird bit of Deus Ex Machina, an alien sword, and this kind of, I don't really want to say anything more than that, but like they go to some really, really emotional places in that story. Like your enthusiasm about it is what my enthusiasm was for that book when it came out, and like that's why that was my favorite book that came out, my favorite comic that came out last year. One of my favorite things that I read last year. It's really, really good. If anybody's been on the fence about it, or if you just are looking for a really good self-contained comic, like it's hard to do better than God Country. It's really, really strong. It's some really beautiful art in it too.
Oh,
Jeff
God.
Shaw is like I'm excited to see what he does on Thanos, because he's gonna be someone big very soon.
That team in general, like it looks like they've already worked together on a decent amount of stuff.
Has like blown up at Marvel. Like they've given him 2 really high profile characters. Jeff Shaw is like getting there. Like I don't think that he's like at a neither of them are at like a superstar level quite yet in the public eye, but like both of them are going to get there, and I am really excited to see that, because they deserve it. They're really, really talented storytellers. Great book. I'm excited that you finally got around to reading it.
Oh my God. It's one of my favorite things I've ever read in general.
Yeah, it's incredible. And just super, super unique. Like I have not read another story that was quite like that book. The ideas that it plays with, even just from like a sci-fi fantasy standpoint, and and like the ways that it uses those to inject the emotional context into the story, is
the character arcs for every single person that's introduced.
Yep.
It's truly just a piece of art.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And like 6 issues isn't nothing. That's a bit of real estate, but like they accomplish more in those 6 issues than like a lot of writers do in like 50, Yeah. In terms of like scope and arc and everything. It's
investment with the characters. Yeah.
Really, really great.
Yeah.
Great book. We're not going to talk about it on this episode, but we both just bought Blackbolt Volume 1 by...
Oh, yeah, I started reading it.
You started reading I have not started reading it yet, but we can talk about it when we are both done with it. Blackbolt Volume 1 by Saladin Ahmed, and I'm forgetting... I don't have the book in front of me, but I'm forgetting... Christian Ward?
Sorry, I have the book, but it's not in grip of my hand.
I'm not 100% on that artist, but it's by Saladin Ahmed, and we're gonna read that, and we'll probably talk about that in this section on a future episode. That's probably gonna do it.
How much do you know? How much do you know about Inhumans?
I know a fair amount. I don't have like a granular knowledge of like all of their history, but like I know all the basic characters and what their powers are, and I know a bit about Black Bolt specifically. Okay.
I know a bit about from like the promos of the TV show. So I got most of my, I recognize characters from like people, complaining about how they looked in the TV show.
Do you remember, in, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there's a character named, I think they just called him Crusher Creel,
Oh, yeah.
Absorbing Man. He is a big part of this series. Or I guess you started
I know,
it.
I just
started
told
it.
you.
I forgot, yeah.
I read all but the last issue, by the way.
Apparently this series started... Oh, geez. So you are just about there. I'll have to read quick and catch up. Apparently the series started as a pitch for an Absorbing Man series. And they were like, you need someone bigger than Absorbing Man. So...
Okay.
So it's a...
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, that's probably going to do it for this week. If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. We're 13 episodes in, but in the grand scheme of things, we're still a fairly new podcast. So, I mean, even
just birthed.
What?
It's just birthed.
Just birthed. Wow. Yeah, even podcasts have had hundreds of episodes. Like, the biggest thing that you can do for us as a podcast, if you like the show, is give us a review or a star rating on iTunes. It's the place where most people get their podcasts, and the way that the algorithm works out is that it's going to surface shows that have more and higher ratings to listeners. So if it made it really easy in the new iOS, the new version of the Apple Podcasts app, to you just scroll down on the podcast page, and there it is. You just hit a star button. It's pretty easy. If you enjoyed what you heard, let someone know about us, either in person or on social media. We release episodes weekly on Sundays, so be sure to check back in next week for another episode. Better yet, subscribe to the podcast. Never even have to think about it. It'll just show up on your phone, and it'll like yell like a howler in Harry Potter. It'll just like, it'll just be like, Ron Weasley, the new episode of Potions and Poop Heads is up.
Potions and Poop Heads?
You know, I thought I had a bit of momentum on the improv front there, and then, you know, the term Poop Heads did come out of my mouth. So
I think you're going for that young adult, middle school humor there, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
In any case, you could do what he just said. You can listen or check back or get the feed on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Overcast, Google Play Music, iTunes. So whichever podcast app you prefer. We got you iTuned.
You said iTunes
Sorry, we got you
twice, and then you said iTuned at the end.
I did. We got you covered. Like the show.
Like,
covered.
You know, like the name we did.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Okay. Sorry. In the meantime, before the next episode, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook under the handle @comicscovered, and, as it's spelled. And, you can also find our web archives of all our episodes at comicscovered.libsyn.com, and on our YouTube channel. And, we have video versions on Facebook as well, so you can check that out. I think we're close to 200 likes as well for that. So that's cool. Mm-hmm. And if you want to get a hold of us with a question or feedback, constructive criticism is still available, is still invited, is what I mean. Send us a message on Facebook or Twitter. At our email, Twitter, shut up. At our email, comicscovered@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening. I'm baby child Jack.
I'm Elma Fudd.
That, you did so much better earlier.
Well, it's hard. There weren't a lot of R sounds. I'm Doug, and this has been Comics Covered.
Cheerio.
Thanks, guys.